Hello, my name is Eric Moore, the Happy Computer Guy, and welcome to my workshop. I'm excited to give you a tour of all of my wonderful treasures I've collected over 25 years of collecting. Starting here, we have an IBM 29 key punch. You can see this on my channel. This is fully operational, and this punches punched cards. So very neat little machine that was critical to being able to program computers before the advent of other means of data entry. Up here we have some of the wonderful art my family has given me over the years. Here we have a PDP 1123. It says 1103 on here, but I've upgraded the processor. The neat thing about this is that it is able to emulate a CP/M system. So it has a daughter card in there that allows me to run CP/M. On top is a Heathkit 8-inch floppy disk, an H27. And coming over to here, we have a Teletype Model 33 that I got from Mike Douglas. And this does have a gremlin, but I have a fully operational one over in the corner. So I'm looking forward to taking this cosmetically beautiful one and the operational one and creating one perfect ASR33 out of them. The most beautiful one went to SAMSAT, the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology, along with my SEL 810A, in case you're wondering where that went. I'm going to keep bringing you around here. All right, so coming into the corner, we have my Fanuc paper tape punch and reader, and then my Nixdorf data terminal, which we call the Nixdorf trapezoid, which does work. We've reverse engineered this, and you can see that on my channel. And then coming down here, we have a really neat programmable calculator, which is a CompuCorp 425G. This is a later generation of the Monroe calculator that you're going to see later in the tour, which is a punch card programmable calculator that is fully operational, where this guy does not work right now. Coming down here, we have an unformatted Pertec 9-track half-inch tape drive. Up here is a formatted Pertec 9-inch tape drive. I am waiting for a Q-Bus or similar interface for these guys to get them operational. I have a Tektronix oscilloscope, 400 series, a 475A, which I've been playing with to listen to this oscilloscope music, and spheres, which I highly recommend. Back here, I have a Gold Systems 32/77, and I'll be able to show you one of its front panels in just a little bit. This is the evolution of the SEL 810A that, again, I gave to SAMSAT. Back in the corner, we have a Burroughs system, which is a convergent transputer. I am missing a hard drive, so I can't boot that at all. Coming over to here, we have some documentation, printers, terminals, my Nabu computer, which I have not gotten into yet. Very excited about it, though. Go ahead and rotate you around. How are we looking? Oh, that's a nice shot, looks like. So there's the Nabu. I've got some old telephones here. Really love the old telephones. Right here, I have my Linear 103 that I've been working on off and on. Really neat looking computer. You can see that in a short on my channel. My 4951A protocol analyzer. This guy, I need to replace some caps or remove some batteries or both inside. So that's why I'm not messing with it anymore until I do that. My D101X Datascope is a CRT serial protocol analyzer. So that's a really neat little piece of equipment. But the CRT is apparently going out. That I should probably move along to someone who has a bit more experience in micro CRT restoration. Coming over to here, you can see I've got a lot of CRTs on the ground. I got those for like 30 bucks at an estate sale. So I've been having a lot of fun with them and showing my kids all about CRTs. Here we have my cleaning cart, oh so essential cleaning cart. This is all fiberglass for the Linear. That's really nasty. Here we have some of my Teletype and Baudot equipment. I've been working more and more on that, the current loop equipment. You can see that on my channel. So these bottom ones are World War II era punch, and then this is a keyboard and punch, so and printer. So you could actually print on the tape as it punched it. Random detritus, 555 switchboard. So this is what Lily Tomlin used in Laugh-In, for those of you of a certain age. On top, I have a telephone line simulator. Very important if you want to play with old phones. So this lets me let the kids use the phones to talk to one another, which is super fun. My working teletype there in the corner, my payphone, some game systems I've been playing with. You know, I really kind of just play with whatever meets my fancy at the moment, as long as kind of my responsibilities to the collection in terms of cleaning and organizing have been met. Coming around, we've got some of the stuff I've been playing with most recently. So this is a current loop Baudot test message generator, which I really love so much. It's just a neat piece of equipment that I got from a gentleman on Green Keys. Same with this transmitter distributor, or TD. It's another piece of teletype gear, and it can read 5-level tape and transmit it using 100 volt 60 milliamp, which this Heathkit power supply provides very nicely. So that's been fun to play with. You can see kind of my bench system, some other things. And then coming back around here, this stuff back there is actually what I call hacker stuff, right? A lot of it in the bins. It's kind of stuff that's specific to things like specific protocols, things like that, that if you have it, it's really handy. If you don't, it's really hard. But otherwise, it's kind of crap. So it's hard to keep juggling that stuff. Down here, we have an IBM 9404. I think this is a B10. This is an early AS400. I have cleaned this extensively, but I have not serviced the power supply yet. We have a Gould Systems 3277. This is another one, so I actually have 2 of them. This is a test bed. So this allows you to have these cards mounted in the system and you know, go ahead and get your scope onto the card while the system is running, which you can't really do with that other system. Up here we have a series of lithographs that I acquired. I think I paid $50 for these things. These are from copyright 1977, The Marketeers, Inc. For Data Entry Digest. This is the first use of punched cards for the census of 1890. Then Office Management circa 1907, right? Data Entry circa 1917, punching cards by hand. I don't know if that's a Hollerith punch or what that is, but it's a little different than what I've usually seen with the arm that translates, right? Like you see over here. This is a very different type of machine, simply says key punch. And then here we have data processing, circa 1924, loading the punched card feed. It looks like feeler, but it should be feeder. And there that is, okay? So really neat little set. Here we have an X server that I tried to kintsugi. The plastics, I guess I did successfully kintsugi the plastics, but the electronics are still a mess. So I'll probably be moving that along, though it is quite neat. I have always wanted an X server, though one that actually worked would be preferable. Here we have an IBM, I think it's 539401B. And I actually have a diskette for that guy. And the plastics almost always crack on these things. So the number of things you actually see in my collection that have good plastics is because I've done so much driving around and picking stuff up in person, especially from large liquidations, right? And then dealt with all of the detritus that came along with that. So this is the filtered down from the liquidations I've facilitated is where a lot of this came from. So here we have 3 really neat systems that I absolutely love. These are military Tempest hardened systems. So these are meant to prevent Van Eck freaking, where you pick up signals from the system over the air and that are generated simply by the normal operation of the system. And these are pretty rare to see, honestly. Haven't really played with any of them. But the really special thing about them is the level of hardening. The power connectors on a couple of them are different. So they're really fascinating little systems. Down here we've got some terminals, and then we've got a few terminal controllers. These are, let me see, 317461Rs. Those would allow me to control quite a few twin-ax devices. I believe those are not coax, but twin-ax, I want to say. So that's really neat. That would allow me to have a lot of terminals and printers all connected at the same time. Coming up here is actually the first system I think I ever collected, or second system, when I was like 16. My friend Sean gave this to me, rest in peace. And coming up here, we have an S100 computer. This was homebrew. The guy who I bought this from like 10 years ago kind of stiffed me, but I do have this fully operational CPU for it. I'm just waiting for a bus probe to find one cheap, because they are quite pricey, because I know there are a lot of wires disconnected to the front panel, and troubleshooting that without a bus probe would be quite difficult. Here we have a Hewlett-Packard or HP 85 that has the everything but the kitchen sink mod, so it has basically all the ROMs. Really neat piece of equipment. I'm going to rotate you a little bit more here. There we go. Bring you into the corner a little. Commodore 64. This is the first Commodore 64 I've ever owned, and I acquired it like 2 months ago, so that's really funny. Haven't touched it yet. We have my Inacolor 2427. This guy has some gremlins. You can see it on my channel. Been working on it, but I probably will be moving it along to someone who has more expertise in troubleshooting these kind of retro graphics-based systems. Next is my fully operational display writer. You can see that on the channel. My Monroe 1665. This is the fully programmable calculator that takes punch cards. Such a neat machine, and one I have not featured on the channel yet, so one I should feature on the channel soon here. Here's an IBM 5120. I've been working on this most recently. This is also called a 5110 Mod 3, I think. And I've been trying to get it going. The power supply is happy thanks to some help from SARC, but you know, not rastering. So that's why I've got this composite display here that I've been using to troubleshoot it. Microvaxes, one works, one doesn't. CI 3500, that is a really nice wide format printer that I did get working, though it did take replacing a tiny little gear, and that's a fascinating story in and of itself. Apple IIGS and Apple IIe, both unknown states, though the Apple IIe I do have a replacement keyboard for that I need to install. ADM3A, it works, but the some of the speeds don't work, so it's kind of finicky. I'll say finicky. Bring you down around here. Alrighty, righty. Wrapping up, we have a TI-99 4A. I've been told that is an incredibly easy system to fix. I should really play with it someday. Heathkit H11A and H19, both of these work great. The H11A is basically an identical system to the PDP-11 that we looked at earlier. I've got my data master here, System 23 data master. That is in unknown state. The power supply works, but beyond that, I have not troubleshot it. My spare display writer, this is dedicated to someone, and my IBM PC 5150. And then on the floor there, I have my VAX case, but it is actually a PDP-1173 running BSD 2.11, which you saw in the ASR33 video. So that's my workshop. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful new year.